Some more hours, so I'm about to move on as fast as these gentlemen over here. But I want to welcome you here. We got a fantastic crowd. Beautiful June 1st day, and we're here to swear in 4 new warrant officers. And it's kind of a special ceremony this morning. It's a big day. It's a big step in their careers. It's not quite as wild as a chief's initiation, but it's just no more less important than a chief's initiation. It's a big step in their career. They're going on to be commissioned officers, and it's a good day to do it. And we have plenty of family and friends here to help out. So, without further ado, I just want to mention one thing. If you want to come up, I know I've got somebody over here taking pictures and it's flashing, well, that's fine. What I want to point out is if you want to come up and take pictures, feel free, jump in front of somebody, don't worry about it. Make sure you get the good shots. If you want to make them stop and sign the thing 3 times or whatever, raise the right hand 6 times, feel free. It's your day as much as theirs. Get good pictures and make sure that you're able to record it the way you want to record it. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce the Executive Officer of RTC Yorktown, Commander Mike Pearson.
Thanks, Rich. That's a new experience for me. I normally get to introduce the old man, but he's otherwise committed this morning, so I get the pleasure of doing this. And Rich mentioned the word new a couple times, and I think the word new is rather appropriate. I think the word new is very appropriate. Obviously, on the first day of the month, we're into a new month, and what could be better? A day like today at RTC, makes things just about perfect. It's our first full day with a new commandant. I should have given all the blue suiters out there a little quiz this morning and asked who your commandant was, because if anybody had forgotten, as of yesterday afternoon, we have a new commandant, and that's great. We all look forward to the changes that will be coming in the Coast Guard as a result of that. And the Coast Guard's almost into a new century. And down there in Hampton Roads today, with their Harbor Fest, there'll be a real focus on the Coast Guard and the Coast Guard coming into its new century with the Eagle and many other Coast Guard vessels. But it's only a few days away that the Coast Guard will be entering its 3rd century, and we'll all be part of that, and we'll all remember where we were when that 3rd century for the Coast Guard started. And most importantly for this morning, it's our opportunity to enter 4 new warrant officers into the Warrant Officer Corps of the Coast Guard, and that's great unto itself. That makes it all worthwhile. And with those new shoulder boards and those new hats, of course, come new responsibilities that we know that they are ready for. I don't know if they know they're ready for them yet, but we took a good hard look at their credentials a while back and decided that these 4 young men are certainly ready for these new responsibilities. With the new responsibilities, of course, new opportunities. All headed off to new jobs and a new way of looking at life, and wondering what those new career paths are going to offer for them. The new jobs are going to be a challenge unto itself. New relations with the chief's mess, and all kinds of fun new things. Well, as I say, today is brought to you by the word new, so let's get on with the new things and make some new warrant officers. Chief Dutkowski.
Would the Dutkowski party come forward and help out on this little ceremony here? First thing you want to do is receive your discharge certificate.
As much as he'd like to be both, I'm sure, he can't be. And so we're going to discharge him from the enlisted ranks here with an honorable discharge from the Armed Forces of the United States. This is to certify that Daryl Dutkowski, Chief Quartermaster, was honorably discharged from the United States Coast Guard on the 31st day of May, 1990. This certificate is awarded as testimonial of honest and faithful service. Signed, Douglas H. Thiessen, Captain, United States Coast Guard. And it's my pleasure to present him with his discharge certificate at this point. Okay, he's out of the Coast Guard. Do we have any reasons why he should not be
We got him now. He's in limbo.
All right, in that case, Mrs. Dutkowski and XO will remove his collar devices.
That's right.
Rip them off.
Take off these badges of office here. Now, if he were in the Coast Guard, I guess it'd be a non-rate, because he's wearing absolutely nothing.
Maybe we should leave him like this for a while. All right, the next step is to take the oath of office. The XO will administer it.
Yeah, that's right. It's your last chance, Steve.
Okay, this is it. I see we put the big guys in front of the doors, right? Good deal. Raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I, in your full name.
I, Daryl,
Do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office on which I am about to enter. So help me God. Mr. Dutkowski, congratulations.
I'm going to turn the podium over to Mr. Dutkowski.
Well, that was a lot easier than a chief's initiation, I'll tell you that. I'll be very brief. My wife told me to be very brief, and she still outranks me, so I'll do that. I'd like to thank Commander Vaughn and Commander Pearson for being a part of the ceremony today. I'd like to thank Eric Matthews for the fine job he's done in organizing this thing. I'd like to thank all of you for being here. I'm going to miss Yorktown very much, especially the second floor of Hamilton Hall. A lot of good friends up there. I'd like to thank my wife Peggy. She's paid a lot of dues to this outfit, and I love her very much. I'd also like to thank the staff of QMA School for their loyalty, their friendship, and their hard work. They've spent the last 2 years making me look good, and I appreciate it very much. Thank you.
Would MKC George Franklin Heller come forward? And his party. The discharge will be done by Commander Stubbs of the Harriet Lane. First thing you want to do is just get after he gets his takes off. First, just give him his discharge. Okay, which is in here.
Honorable discharge in the Armed Forces of the United States of America. This is to certify that George Franklin Heller, Jr., Chief Machinery Technician, was honorably discharged from the United States Coast Guard on the 31st day of May, 1990. This certificate is awarded in testimony of honest and faithful service. Signed, Douglas H. Teason, Captain, United States Coast Guard, Commanding Officer, Reserve Training Center, Yorktown, Virginia.
And now you and Mrs. Heller can take off his collar devices. All right, anybody got any reasons why we shouldn't swear him in now? All right, the next step would be Commander Stubbs is then going to administer the oath of office.
I, George Franklin Heller,
I, George Franklin Heller Jr.,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
and I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I take this obligation freely
and I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
that I will well and faithfully discharge
and I will well and faithfully discharge
the duties of the office on which I am about to enter.
the duties of the office that I am about to do.
So help me God.
Help me God. Now you can pin on his shoulder, boys. I think I got ahead of myself. I'm going to make sure he signs those pieces of paper.
EO, Lieutenant Bill Reichs and his wife, and so does our former EO, Lieutenant Dan Oliver, who came down from headquarters today to share this with Mr. Heller. So we're very proud of you, and we are extremely appreciative of all the hard work that you've done in the past few years. And I'd just like to, if I may, indulge you with a little bit that George is a shipmate, and I think it's kind of neat to tell a few things about shipmates. We worked together for 18 months on Harriet Lane, and you can see he's not nervous. I'm more nervous and more apprehensive about this ceremony than he is. He's been a rock. He's been a rock down in the engine room, on the deck plates, when we've ever had an oil leak or we ever had something go wrong. It's been Chief Heller, the rock of Gibraltar down there, directing the young firemen, directing the young MKs, and having my full trust and confidence in his decision-making, whatever it might be, in terms of not only just safety, but in terms of operating the plant. And he's done marvelous down there. Not only has he done marvelous down there, but we have a room that we call the place of stars, for the stars, by the stars. And this is the JP5 pump room in the Freon, the AC compressors for the reefer spaces. And that is a very terrible space to maintain, as any of you engineers know. Well, that space down there is the best looking space aboard the ship. It is so good looking. The Commandant of the Coast Guard, the Commander of Naval Surface Forces Atlantic, a 3-star Admiral, Admiral Welling, and Admiral Breed have all been down there and have all remarked on what an absolutely incredible space it is. And this is a space that has no rust, very little moisture, very minimal leaks, and the brass is absolutely polished to a high shine. It's a beautiful space. Everything works. And those of you familiar with the 270s, the A-class, you know how bad we've had problems with our reefer spaces. Well, they work because of Chief Mr. Heller now. The neat thing about it is he's left us and they still work. And the spaces are still kept the same way because the petty officers and the young firemen have been trained. He's done his job as a chief. He's fulfilled what all of us expect our chiefs to be: leaders, example setters, knowledgeable technicians, men who train not only the junior petty officers, but men who train the young ensigns above them. Tough, demanding role. As a chief, Chief Heller fulfilled that role. He received an achievement medal for his work aboard that ship. We have done very well by him. We've had some problems. We had a sewer holding tank explode on us in Baltimore. The day it exploded, you'd think that the whole ship's company would go into some sort of panic and into some sort of, oh my gosh, woe was us. They didn't. They just shouldered their load and went down and cleaned it. That's a terrible, terrible mess to clean when you flooded out spaces with sewer. Again, another example of his leadership, another example of his effect on that ship. Well, those are about all the things I really want to say. I could talk to you about the pie in the face contest that we had, and I could talk to you all kinds of good things. Chief Heller, now Mr. Heller, did a super job on Harriet Lane. And sometimes some of us, when we get around the Oak Club bar, we kind of worry about the future of the Coast Guard. Well, I can assure you that when I serve with men and see the men out here and the women of the Coast Guard, I'm not worried about the future. I'm not worried about the future at all. Chief Heller, I'm sure, will be advancing from warrant to commission, full commission status as lieutenant, eventually an EO of one of these ships. There's nothing stopping him. His horizons are wide open. Thank you again for being here. All the best and much continued success to you, Mr. Heller.
On a natural high today. Yeah. It means a lot to me to be commissioned this year just because it's our 200th birthday. And it seems like the longer I'm in the Coast Guard, the more I enjoy it. And I'm going to take that from today and move on and try to enjoy it more. I really enjoyed my short TAD trip to Yorktown, and working with the AC&R group. If we could have them stand just so we could recognize those individuals. Disappointed I'm leaving, but I'm also, really ready to enjoy the future job that I have because of the people I'll be working with, and going back to 270. A lot of people don't like them, but I enjoyed it because it was fast-paced, always busy, and never had time to really sleep. I want to thank my wife because she puts up with me, and she'll continue to do that, I guess. This is my day, so I'm taking this advantage of it. All wives have a lot to bear, and I know those of you that's known me for a long time and know that I'm not the easiest person to get along with. So,
I would say that.
Anyway, I appreciate everybody coming out today. There's a lot that could be said, but I know there's two other individuals waiting to be sworn in, so I appreciate everybody coming out and thank everybody for showing up. Thank you.
Check into sleeping in the AC&R lab.
Discharge will be administered by the executive officer. His party he's accompanied by his wife and his mother.
Honorable discharge from the Armed Forces of the United States of America. This is to certify that Alan Brian Jones, Chief Fire Control Technician, was honorably discharged from the United States Coast Guard on the 31st day of May, 1990. This certificate is awarded as a testimonial of honest and faithful service. Douglas H. Thiessen, Captain.
We have to do that again.
Another hand? Hand off there? Okay.
So he's out of the Coast Guard. Anybody got any reason we shouldn't swear him back in? I see Marshal Lewis laughing back there. All right, I guess we'll go forward then. XO, would you administer the oath of office?
I, Alan Brian Jones,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic,
foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same,
and allegiance to the same,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully
and that I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
of the office in which I am about to enter.
of the office on which I am about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Mr. Jones, podium is yours.
I guess I'm going to be the briefest one yet. I'd like to thank my mom for coming up from Florida. Today's her birthday, by the way. Wish her happy birthday. I'd also like to thank my mother-in-law for coming up. She brought half the state of Illinois with her. And I'd like to thank my wife for putting up with me in the Coast Guard and her support. And I'm leaving Yorktown with mixed feelings like I do every unit. I enjoyed working here. I enjoyed the job, loved the job. And I had the best group of FTs I've ever worked with here. Sandy, Pat. And I'd like to thank the command for their endorsement and their support. Thanks. That's it. Thank you. Thanks for coming.
His discharge will be administered by Lieutenant Anita Jones, U.S. Navy Reserve.
Honorable discharge from the Armed Forces of the United States of America. This is certified that Eric Edward Matthews, Senior Chief Fire Control Technician, was honorably discharged from the United States Coast Guard on the 31st day of May 1990. He certifies the certificate is awarded as a testimonial of honest and faithful service signed, Commanding Officer Douglas Tilson, United States Coast Guard.
Next step is for Lieutenant Jones and Mr. Hobart Matthews to take off his collar devices. I'm going to give you one more shot now. Okay. And anybody got any reason we shouldn't bring him back into the Coast Guard? Oh! All right, put in its shit. Lieutenant Jones will administer the oath of office.
I, Eric Edward Matthews,
Solemnly swear or affirm
solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic.
foreign and domestic,
That I will bear true faith and allegiance
and I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the same,
to the same,
and that I take this obligation freely
and I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully discharge
and that I will well and faithfully discharge
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
on which I am about to enter.
on which I am about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
I drew 3.
Mr. Matthews, the podium is all yours.
family, my father from Florida and his friends, and my friend Anita Jones for doing the commissioning, and all the other family that's come and friends, and really appreciate everyone coming out today, especially all those fine FTs back in the corner over there. So thank you very much all for coming. Appreciate it.
I'd like to reintroduce the Executive Officer, Commander Mike Pearson, to make some final remarks.
Very brief. After we're done with Mr. Heller, I was thinking, you know, if we're a baseball player batting 500, we'd be making a couple $1 million a year. We could have quit right there where we're batting 500. Nah, we do the whole thing. As I was watching the shoulder board being pinned on, it dawned on me that it was this month, just a few years back, that I had my first shoulder boards pinned on, not more than a couple 100 feet from here, and I still remember that day rather vividly, and I know you all remember this day rather vividly. Best of luck to you in the future. However, before you leave the room, the Warrant Officers Association would like to talk to you for a bit.
Good morning, I'm Chief Warrant Officer Ryan. I'm the president of the Yorktown Officers Association. What I'm going to do is present each of the new commissioned warrant officers with a set of shoulder boards from the Yorktown Chief Warrant Officers and Warrant Officers Association.
Might point out, now that he's given you those shoulder boards, your obligation is to be very active in the Warrant Officers Association and the Officers Association. That basically concludes our ceremony.
Want to open it up? Bicentennial coin for the Coast Guard.
Oh, yeah, this is the 200.
Well, no, that's for you. I've got something for him. Well, Craig?
Excuse me.
One around, I guess. Ready? I'm not going to flip it, because I don't want it to break.
Okay.
That's
I've got to get
one of those Walking Liberty dollars. Appreciate working with you. It's really been
Isn't this a beautiful view?
Oh.
Very much. Thanks for coming out.